Welcome, my friends. I'm Alex Jones, your host. This is another edition of Infowars Nightly News. It is the evening of December 29th, 2011 on this Thursday edition. And, of course, we'll be back tomorrow night as we are every weeknight. We've got some particularly important investigative reports we're going to be airing tomorrow evening dealing with terrorism, death statistics versus things like champagne corks. Did you know that champagne corks kill more people than terrorists every year? It's coming up tomorrow, but tonight is a jam-packed transmission. Before I get into the news, we've got John Trudell, Native American activist, philosopher, actor, researcher. We're going to be looking at the anniversary of the 1890 massacre at Wounded Knee, and we'll also discuss the nature of reality coming up with John Trudell this evening. We're also going to be looking in just a moment at cancer viruses in the vaccines and more, because Hugo Chavez is in the news saying that Fidel Castro warned him about the U.S. government trying to give him cancer. And Chavez says he doesn't know if it's true. Fidel just warned him. I don't like Fidel Castro or Hugo Chavez. Let's get that straight. I like communist about as much as I like bubonic plague. The fact is we have U.S. government documents. They do it, and they do it to the American people. Not the U.S. government, though, a tiny group of eugenicists in control of DARPA and science research in this country. That's coming up. Stay with us. But first, let's go ahead and launch into today's top stories. Well, Ron Paul, in most polls, is still the leader in the key kickoff state for the Republican primary of Iowa. But the system is pulling out all the stops to make up stuff, demonize him. We're going to be breaking some of that down in a moment. But there was a big defection. Michelle Bachmann's chair of her campaign has defected to Ron Paul today. So a big win. Ron Paul has also been endorsed by the latest winner of American Idol. Not too important for me, but in this pop culture, it's big news. And Jesse Ventura, the former Minnesota governor, movie star, of course, and host of the show Conspiracy Theory on True TV, endorsed Ron Paul for president today on my syndicated radio broadcast. Continuing here, here's the Daily Beast, a subsidiary of Newsweek magazine. Michael Medved, a neocon rhino there to control real conservatives in this country, came out and demonized Ron Paul for coming on my radio show and talking about world government. And he went on to basically imply that it is crazy for Ron Paul to come on my show. And he also then, out of context with no link, said that I've accused George Bush and the New World Order of planning the extinction of the human race. That's not what I said. I said that there is a population reduction program on record injecting children with syphilis in Latin America, Africa, and the U.S., as well as Asia. There's been programs of forcibly sterilizing women from India to Peru. And that's what he boils all of that down to, and Ron Paul being in my film Endgame that breaks all of this down. You're a film reviewer, Medved. Get it straight. Another ridiculous attack, and the New York Times attacked Ron Paul for being a long-time guest of my radio show. And again, they built more straw men. They didn't actually attack Ron Paul on any of the issues. They said that Ron Paul's crazy because he believes there's a global government being formed, despite the fact that it's admitted that a global private corporate government is being formed. They made jokes about elitist cabals. We've paid tens of trillions of dollars to these foreign offshore IMF, World Bank connected groups. Of course it exists. They went on to say Paul has frequently attacked the alleged New World Order that we have all these presidents calling for, elitist cabals like the Trilateral Commission and the Rockefeller family. David Rockefeller, in fact, I meant to show this tonight. We'll show it tomorrow night, McBreen. Remind me to do that. He came out, remember this is teleprompter-free news, in his memoir, 5 years ago. In fact, during the break, we might be able to actually pull that up, and said, I've been accused, and my family's been accused of wanting to end U.S. sovereignty and set up a world government. Well, I've been accused, and I say guilty as charged. In fact, guys, pull up David Rockefeller's memoir, admitting plan to end U.S. sovereignty. You'll find it. Paid $446, I think, going from memory. I mean, it's right there. In fact, we actually have it on the bookshelf out there. I meant to show that. But here they are treating their listeners, their readers, their viewers like they're idiots. CBS News, New York Times, you name it. Oh, my God, he goes on Alex Jones's show And they talk about the mega global rich trying to take over the planet. So he goes on, in conjunction with globalist organizations like the United Nations and the World Bank, wish to foist on Americans in 2006 column published on the website Lou Rockwell, and it goes on to show him breaking that down. They continue to demonize yours truly. It says, Paul knows where his bread is buttered. He regularly appears on the radio program of Alex Jones, a vocal 9/11 and New World Order conspiracy theorist. You cover real news, you're a conspiracy theorist, because these guys supposedly control reality. In his home state of Texas, on Jones' show earlier this month, Paul alleged that the Iranian plot to kill the Saudi ambassador on United States soil was a propaganda stunt perpetuated by Obama administration. Hundreds of experts came out, even on Fox News, CNN, including Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Schaefer and FBI agents, and said it was staged and fake. But they condense it down like we're all basically crazy. So the system is definitely getting desperate. Oh, we do have the quote here. Let's turn to it right here. Let's turn to it right here on the TV screen. This is from his memoir. Now, the site they found just gives a quote. I think his book's called Reflections. I read it, but I'm going from memory. In fact, after we're done with this, pull me up the... this is live, teleprompter free here, okay? Well, we're actually taping the show tonight, but the point is it's live. I'm in here recording this live. We're flying by the seat of our pants. For more than a century, ideological extremists at either end of the political spectrum have seized upon well-publicized incidents such as my encounter with Castro to attack the Rockefeller family for the inordinate influence they claim we wield over American political and economic institutions. Some even believe we are part of a secret cabal working against the best interests of the United States, characterizing my family and me as internationalist and conspiring with others around the world to build a more integrated global political and economic structure. One world, if you will. If that's the charge, I stand guilty and I am proud of it. And that's nothing in his book. He admits the Bilderberg Group sets policy. He admits he wants a one world government. Guys, just type in David Rockefeller autobiography, and that will give you... Oh, it's called Memoirs. That's right. It's called Memoirs. There's another one about the Rockefellers called the other name. Yeah, it's David Rockefeller Memoirs. In fact, even to show folks the cover, it's him on a sideways shot, a black and white photo. I'll show it to you here in a minute coming up. There it is. Boom, sideways shot. I actually have that on the bookshelf out there in my office. There he is. There he is saying it right there. Ladies and gentlemen, teleprompter free. We don't operate with teleprompters. We cover real news. Now, let's continue looking at the Rockefeller family and some of the things these scallywags are up to. This is out of Reuters, posted on Yahoo's front page today. Venezuela's Chavez, did U.S. give Latin American leaders cancer? And he goes on to say, well, he's heard it from people. He doesn't know if it's true, but now that other Latin American leaders who aren't that old, like Cristina Fernandez, are joining the long list of presidents in Latin America diagnosed with cancer who don't play ball, he said it would not be strange if they had developed the technology to induce cancer and nobody knew about it until now. I don't know. I'm just reflecting, he said in a televised speech to troops at a military base. Fidel always told me, Chavez, take care. These people have developed technology. You are very careless. Take care what you eat, what they give you to eat, a little needle, and they inject you with I don't know what, he said. Okay, so this is what I've always talked about. It turns into rumors. The Gulf of Tonkin to get us into Vietnam was not a rumor. The officers on the ships came back, told the San Diego Herald Tribune, we've shown you copies, that the ships weren't attacked, it was staged. It was a conspiracy theory for 40 years when people talked about it, until they declassified in 2004 that indeed our government made up the attacks on our ships to launch the Vietnam War officially. It was never a rumor. So see, he's lazy, like a communist would be. And no doubt, pal, you probably were given cancer. This is part of a strategic program. I have all the documents right here. But you're too lazy when Fidel Castro tells you what's going on because it's declassified there was a U.S. program to try to give him cancer, but they couldn't get it in his food. Okay? So he tells you all this, and then what do? You just say, oh, Fidel told me, but I don't have any proof because you're lazy. And this is the problem with people. They don't go to the original source documents. They just shoot their mouths off. But no doubt, the globalists or this mega banking cartel sucking America dry, they don't like little criminals like Chavez taking control of some of their goodies down there. And so I don't have proof that this is happening to him, but I know it exists. So since I saw this morning, I had the crew do a little bit of research and pull what we had in our archives up for you. First exhibit is this excellent book, Dr. Mary's Monkey, by Edward T. Haslam, who I do want to get on, forward by great researcher Jim Marrs. This is put out by Trine Day, a very respectable group with a lot of courage on the vanguard of getting information out. And you can pull up these documents separately online. This is from the Library of Congress, National Archives, separate documents of leaks similar to this. But this is from Jim Garrison, the DA in New Orleans, separately in his JFK investigation, came across in the files of people he'd raided and things over the years that Lee Harvey Oswald and others who were CIA were working with the National Archives and being given samples of cultured cancers that they were injecting into rats and hamsters that were killing them. And we'll roll through some of the shots of the bibliography of this book, but melanoma, leukemia, they talk about how if you can inject this into somebody, they're deader than a hammer. They call it the 24-hour cancer. And this is the type of stuff that goes on. So this is all covered in this book by Trine Day. We don't carry the book. I should actually call them up and carry this, as I read this a couple years ago. But we'll definitely get Edward T. Haslam on the show to break this down. But you can see Jim Garrison actually entered these into the court record, and you can see him there in the memo, and then it goes through all of these. Now, it isn't just Latin American leaders who don't play ball that get cancer sprayed in their face virally. And by the way, that's what's admitted in these documents, is what's been known since the 20s. The Rockefellers discovered this through their Kaiser Wilhelm Institute in Germany and other institutions. Estrogen hormones is the genesis of cancer. That's in the bibliography right there. I put a star by it. And what they do is they inject you with, most cancer is viral. They inject you with viruses that are designed to not trigger until your hormone levels go down at around age 60, so they don't have to pay for your retirement through the Social Security system. That's how the big banks steal it. They just, through polio shots and other vaccines, they give you these cancer viruses, and all major vaccines variants have been found to have these. Even though it's not part of the manufacturing process, they're adding them to it. And that's all done to get rid of you. Now, don't believe me. If I give me a document cam shot here, here's the San Francisco Chronicle, and this is 2001. Rogue viruses, they weren't rogue, in vaccine, early polio vaccine harbored virus, now feared to cause cancer in humans. And they estimate over 100 million Americans contracted and died from the 50s to the 70s from cancers in viruses injected into them through the polio shots and oral. And by the way, it came out CBS News 2 years ago. They've been giving kids oral polio again, giving them cancer, and giving them polio. In fact, guys, people won't believe that. Let's just do this right now. And again, I haven't have a studio audience tonight. I'm just thinking of this on my feet because I've done so much research. Guys, Google for folks. Everybody can do this watching at home. Google polio vaccine gave children polio. And you'll get CBS News, ABC News 2 years ago, and then 5 years ago, and then 8 years ago, and 10 years ago. It's always an accident. You know, they said, oh, the Africans run when the UN trucks pull up because they say the vaccines are killing them. They are. They've caught the UN adding sterilants to the vaccines. There it is. WebMD, polio vaccine. And it well, that's in 1955. No. This is polio vaccine with cancer. I'm saying type in polio vaccine caused polio. And I'm talking from 2 years ago. It was in Pakistan and other countries. They caught them all over the world, giving kids live polio and actually killing them with real weaponized polio. There it is. CBS News. Mutant polio virus spreads in Nigeria. AP. Polio, the dreaded paralyzing disease stamped out in the industrialized world, is spreading in Nigeria. And health officials say in some cases it's caused by the vaccine used to fight it. Even when they get caught. See, the problem is I got too much proof. It's like that Gnarls Barkley song. We ought to play that sometime. I'm crazy. Not because I don't know anything, but because I knew too much. Does that